When she decides you're out, what she's thinking and how to respond. You just got to be coachable. If your long-term relationship lover or your wife has come to you and said, I'm out and you're out, I don't want to be in a relationship anymore. I want to be separated. At this point in the relationship, her level of attraction for you, for whatever reason, we'll talk about some of those issues, has dropped below 50%. The good news is there are some things that you can do right away to increase that attractiveness back above 50% and attract her back to you. So she wants you to come back into the relationship because she wants to be invested in it as well. This always happens because she's lost love for you. And this love is almost always tied to respect, her level of respect for you. You slowly become unrespectable to her, which usually causes you to become resentful and maybe even disgruntled because you sense her level of unattractiveness. And so what's happened, you've become an unhappy man, whether that's conscious or subconscious. You're not smiling as much as you used to be. You're not giving her love taps on the butt like you used to. The relationships just kind of went where it's not as great as it was before. And it's definitely not as great as it can be if you'll follow these steps that I'm telling you that you can turn the tides in your favor. One of the things that always has happened whenever a wife or a long-term relationship lover has lost the attraction for her man is because he's lost who he was as a man. You've lost your purpose more than likely. Think about at the beginning of the relationship when you guys met and she fell in love with you. You were hanging out and you were doing all these different things. You were hanging out with your buddies. You were going to church. You were working out more at the gym. You were like a different man than you are today. You've changed. But guess what? You get to now pivot. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to respond to her in a way that she's expecting you to respond when she tells you that you're out. You want to respond to her in a way that's in line with your goals. And you want to do this in a timely manner because once she decides you're out, if you don't turn the tides in your favor quickly, the likelihood of the relationship being severed forever, every minute that goes by, the likelihood of that increases, which can ultimately hurt your success rate of getting her back. So how can you immediately use this in your favor when she comes to you and says you're out? Because you can actually look at this like this is an opportunity and you can turn the tides in your favor. But first and foremost, the thing that we want to be very conscious of is time. Timing at this point is so crucial if you want to mend the relationship faster. And in some cases, depending on the man and the scenario, at all. So the first thing that you need to do is be aware of timing. And you need to immediately become different by being indifferent. So you don't want to respond in a way that she's expecting. She's already played this over in her mind of what she's expecting you to do, how she's expecting you to respond. And all of those things are involving you becoming where you're walking into the feminine, which is some of what you've already been doing subconsciously or maybe even consciously. And so what do I mean walking in the feminine? You haven't been acting like a girly man. Of course you haven't. But your responses have been walking in the feminine. So what you get to do at this point is do the opposite of what you're feeling. And if you've already been doing exactly what you feel like you should be doing, stop doing that and do this instead. I want you to calm down. I want you to grow up and I want you to get closer. And so what I mean by that is first and foremost, you emotionally want to react to her and really kind of be explosive. Maybe you're going to get angry. Maybe you want to tell her how much you love her and doesn't she know? And doesn't she know how this is going to affect your friends and your family? If you have children together, all of that is emotional overreactivity. Even though some of the things that you could be saying could be absolutely true, I'm telling you for a fact, it's going to cause her respect and her admiration and her attractiveness level for you to decrease even further. These are the things that you feel like you should be doing, but they're the exact opposite of what you need to be doing if you want your actions to be in line with your goals. So actions in line with goals are a masculine trait, but they're not normal because nobody's ever taught us how to do this, at least not in a long time, maybe thousands of years. So calm down. We know how to do that. Take a deep breath and calm down and do not respond how you feel ever. If you're feeling like you should do X, Y, or Z, I promise you 100% of the time, do not do X, Y, and Z. And this will create a calm you, which is the first thing that you can do. The next thing that you can do is grow up. So what I mean by grow up is realize all of the things that you think that you need in this relationship, the things that you think you need her to say, the way that the separation, she's asking you to get out, she's put your clothes on the curb, or she's packed her stuff and she left a Dear John note. All of the things that you feel like you should be doing, they're very immature. And so what I want you to realize is everything that you think that you need are all personal preferences. And the way that you respond to this maturely is the exact opposite of what you think that you need to be doing. Your actions need to be in line with the goals of attracting her back, restoring the relationship, and not only restoring the relationship, but making it better than it was before, because you don't want to get her back through manipulation skills and techniques and tactics that you've learned on YouTube. You actually sincerely and genuinely want to start within and attract her back. And you want to do that in a way that's going to be lasting so you don't get in this situation again with her, or if this relationship actually comes to an end with somebody else. Because many of you that you're experiencing this, put in the comments if you've already been in this same situation with another woman or another wife, and now you're going through this again and you can't figure out what's going on. But then you kind of step back because I'm talking to you about it and you realize there's one contributing factor here in all of these relationships where I've been down this road before, and it's you. The good news is today you can choose to be a different you. You can choose to change, and you can choose to change the outcome. Regardless of what she's telling you, you can always change her feelings. And for a woman, however she's feeling at this very moment, for her is her truth. The last thing that you want to do right now is respond on how you're feeling, because that is always, always, always going to give you an opposite result of what you want. It's always going to give you an opposite result of what's in line with your goals, and your goal is to get her back. If you're feeling you should do something, it's always the opposite of what you should be doing. I remember I said earlier that timing is not on your side. The first thing that you want to do immediately, if you want this relationship saved, is you need to find a new way of being. And it needs to be what Tony Robbins calls immersion, meaning the only way that this is going to be a change where you're not going to blow up and ruin it all is if you're constantly reminded of it literally every single day of the week until you've successfully changed, until you've successfully attracted her back. The more time that lapses, the more likelihood that the relationship is going to end forever, or she's going to end up with another man. And if she's already with the other man, there's things that you can do to turn the tide in your favor. But the longer that you're separated, the longer that you're apart, the longer the problems exist, the longer she's biased against you and you do the wrong thing and confirm that bias over and over and over, the more time that passes, the longer it's going to take to mend the relationship. And so what we want to do is we want to speed that up before things get worse. So calm down, grow up. The next thing that you want to do is always get closer. So what I mean by that is whenever she pushes your button and you want to be angry at her and you want to blow up, you just need to be different by being indifferent. That means be okay with whatever she throws at you. And when she throws something at you that is pushing your buttons, that she knows you're going to explode, instead of you exploding, you need to just be cool with it and then just move closer to her. Like, okay, I'm okay with that. I'm cool. And then you get a connection in the relationship. You go back as if it had never happened. Okay. And there's different ways of doing this depending on the circumstances, depending on the situation. That's one of the reasons in my program, in addition to being with all of the men that's in the program, we have the Facebook support group. But for 7 weeks, for 35 days, day 1, day 2, day 3. In addition to that, if you have a scenario come up that I don't cover yet as we're going through the steps, that is a step-by-step proven method to actually attract her back in a way that keeps her. Sometimes unique situations come up and we haven't covered that yet in a module that I'm teaching. That's why I offer unlimited one-on-one phone calls with all of my clients that are going through the program. That way we can guarantee success as we're taking these steps. And if something that's maybe in step 14 comes up when you're on step 2, then you have an opportunity to figure out how do I implement step 14 as step 2. That way it makes sense. So calm down, grow up, and get closer. So in undergoing immersive training, this is going to be something that ensures that your buttons, when they are pushed, and they will be pushed, you are not going to emotionally explode. Because for a woman, it's not just about the change that you make. It's also, more importantly, once she's biased against you and out the door, or she's pushed you out, it's about the things that you do wrong to confirm the bias that maybe you were doing all of this stuff right. Maybe you're following every step that I teach in these YouTube videos. But guess what? If you don't have daily immersive training and you do one thing wrong, it's back to step one. And all of the progress that you've made, you're going to lose all of that progress in her mind and confirm to her, even though the changes may be lifelong lasting and they might be real, if you have one area that you haven't changed yet and you fail that test, for her, all of that change is worthless and it's not even real, even though it may actually genuinely be real. I'm currently in my second marriage right now, and it's a wonderful, amazing marriage of 10 years. And my first marriage, I was going through a separation where I was facing divorce, and I literally changed every area of my life. But there was this one thing where I blew up, like this one area where I became emotionally reactive. And that ultimately was responsible for the divorce being finalized, and that was over. So timing is so crucial. So you must change if you don't want a divorce, you don't want the relationship to end forever, or you don't want the relationship to end to the point that maybe she ends up with another man, or if she's already with another man, you know what I'm talking about. Enough time has lapsed before you changed, which is now making it a lot harder to get her back, to attract her back, because there's another lover involved. And I'm not saying it's impossible. No situation is hopeless. No situation is impossible. But once another man gets involved, hey guys, I want to share something with you. If you're still watching the video at this stage, I'm assuming that you're getting at least some benefit from the content. I want to give you something else. I'm offering right now a free masterclass. And at the end of that masterclass, I'm giving you an opportunity to apply to work with me. The website to do that is denvergriffin.com/masterclass. And if you're enjoying some of this content, please hit that like button and subscribe. I'm posting YouTube videos daily right now to give you free content in order to help you save your marriage. And I want you to be notified as those videos become available in real time. But once another man gets involved, it is going to typically take longer, and there's different things that we have to do. We can speed all of this up by you implementing immersive change with daily help. So you do get to change, okay? But you need to do it now, and you need to do it fast. Next thing that you can do is remember this and screenshot this. I talk about this all the time, but it is the most important way that you can become emotionally attractive to her, which is also spiritually attractive, is in your attitude, no matter what she throws at you. I've already told you, I want you to be calm. So you calm down, you be mature, you grow up, and you always move to get closer. Well, how do you get closer? Okay. Maybe she's being obstinate and she's not giving you an opportunity to be lovey-dovey or snuggle with her. Well, here's how you get closer when that happens. The 3 Ps, you always implement the 3 Ps. And the 3 Ps stand for positive, polite, and playful. Screenshot this, take this to the windshield of your car, to your office, screenshot it on your phone, and repeat to yourself, I am positive, polite, and playful. Be positive, polite, and playful. Meaning, you do want to back off at this point. Don't become desperate. Don't become needy. You actually get to become somebody that's walking in a mission for increasing their own life, increasing your attractiveness for yourself. And until you figure out how to do this, every response and every interaction with her needs to be positive, polite, and playful. And this is so easy. It's such an easy thing to do. But oftentimes it's only easy if you have a daily reminder and a support group of men helping you. So that's why you always want to get help if you can do that. The next thing that you really need to do, if you're in the beginning stages of this, especially for those of you that have been separated for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you probably are already sensing what I'm about to tell you, but it's time to wake up and listen to what I'm telling you, because if you don't listen to this, the relationship has the potential to end forever. Be realistic and realize that you can do this on your own as fast as you need to do it. But realize also that you actually can lose her forever if you don't get things back on track pretty fast. So I want you to think about the cost that's going to be involved if you don't attract her back quickly. So a lot of men delay going into a coaching program or a marriage counseling program. I don't recommend counseling because more often than not, counselors are trained to become professional separation coaches or divorce counselors, because the majority of the time, relationship counseling doesn't work because counseling has a traditional method. If you're a counselor, you're subject to your training and you have to adhere to those guidelines. Those guidelines typically focus on working on the problems. And I always say working on the problems is never going to work because the problem is never the problem. We always want to be solution and goal oriented. What do we want out of the relationship? And then how do we align our actions in line with getting and accomplishing exactly what we want? But this always comes back to timing. Think about the cost if you don't do this, okay? How much time that passes, more likely another man is going to be involved. If another man is going to be involved or he's already involved, they're going to develop possibly feelings of limerence, which can turn into love. And there's lots of videos out there about what is limerence, and you can count on that. I've been in a relationship with somebody that I didn't want to end. In that relationship, the relationship partner developed limerence for another man, and today she's married to that man. So you can't count on limerence fading because your relationship can end if you don't act quickly enough. Time is not on your side. The longer and the more time that goes by, the more competition that you're going to face. You need to act quickly. You need to stop delaying. Consider the cost of what could happen if you delay this. And step number 4 is, how do you start the process of attracting her back? Well, I've told you the 3 P's, so positive, polite, and playful, but you also must cause her to love you again by becoming respectable again. And so what's happened at this stage in the relationship is, to her, you've become the opposite of respectful. And by admitting that and looking at yourself and taking like an introspection of who was the man that I was when she met me, and then who am I now? Look at your actions, look at your daily routines. What were they and what are they now? So maybe you've become depressed a little bit because you're separated, or maybe you've just become like a little bit of overweight, your muscle tone is down. Being depressed is the opposite of respectable. So now this is an opportunity where you can act quickly and you can get back up. You must cause her to love you again by being respectable. Okay? Stop being depressed. Stop being reclusive. For a lot of you, you know what I'm talking about. You've hoarded up. You're eating Cheetos. You're watching YouTube videos, and you're trying to find somebody to agree why you should feel sorry for yourself. You've given up for some of you, and all of that's no reason. There's no reason to give up. There's hope, but you have to change, and you have to do that in a timely manner. So you don't want to recruit others to go talk to her for you. All of that is coming across weak, and it's the lack of respect. And the reason that you're at where you're at is because she feels like she stopped loving you. And if she doesn't feel that way yet, she will, because the fact is she stopped respecting you. A lot of marriage counselors or coaches talk about the number one need of a man is respect. And you know what? I say every need that we've ever been taught is just BS. None of that is needs. If my wife goes through a season where she doesn't respect me, I don't need that. I'm not going to stop running my businesses. I'm not going to start going into depression. I am, however, if I start sensing a little bit of lack of respect, I'm going to say, wow, kick myself in the rear and say, wow, I've lost my purpose in life. I need to go back to that, because a man on a mission and a man that knows where he's going is very respectable. And a woman that respects you is going to be head over heels in love with you. And if you're thinking that, wow, you don't know my wife, you don't know my lover, when she makes up her mind, that's the way it is. Well, that's not the truth, because she made up her mind to move in with you, and now she's made up her mind to move out with you. So she does change her mind. And for all women, what's truth for them is, how are they feeling right now? And the good thing is that I can actually teach you how to change her feelings by changing how you think and how you respond and how you act first. This is all something that's so easy, but it's just not common sense. And nobody else out there is really teaching this. And the reason that they're not is nobody else out there is currently married. I'm in a marriage right now where I've been through a marriage of 10 years. We had relationship ups and downs. I had been through a previous marriage that lasted 2.5 decades. That ended in a divorce. I almost saved it, but it wasn't about the things that I did right? It was the few things that I did wrong, and the marriage, the problems were confirmed in her mind. That ended in a divorce. And then fast forward a few years into a new marriage, I find myself going through stage 4 cancer treatment. I become a weak man. I lost my mission. I became angry. And guess what? I'm at wife number 2. She wants out. And I'm like, I am not going through this again. I am going to figure this out. I'm going to do it the right way. And I now teach men how to do that so far as of today with 100% success since 2000 and the end of 2015. So do not recruit others to talk to her. All of that stuff, you want to stop that. You want to attract her back by finding your purpose, and you want to start pursuing it again. Find your purpose and start pursuing it again. All of the things that made you happy when you were single before you met her, you want to go back to that. And for a lot of you, hopefully you matured over the years. Now you're starting to sit down and think about, okay, I knew what I want at that point in my life, which was attractive to her. Do I want those same things? And do I need to get my actions in line with that again? Or do I now have bigger dreams and bigger goals? So not only do you have a newfound purpose for your life, or you're reigniting the purpose that you had originally, that you've lost your way, this is an opportunity to get your life back on track. That's going to create curiosity in her, because every other man out there in your shoes and in this situation, they're going to become needy. They're going to become desperate, and they're going to start focusing on the relationship with her, and they're going to start focusing on her. All of that will guarantee the relationship is never restored. You're in a position now where you need and you get to focus on yourself. Focus on, why would she want to be with me? How can I attract her back spiritually, physically, intellectually, my character, and emotionally? What are the things that I can do become attractive in these areas of spice again to bring her back? And the number one thing that you can do is by finding your purpose and pursuing it again. Remember the man that she fell in love with, and become a better version of that man. And remember, like I said, the first and foremost thing that you need to do is you need to act. You need to act now, and you need to act in a way that it is permanent. Because what's going to happen is, once you start the process of changing and becoming that man again, if it's not an immersive training that you're going through, okay, you could watch all of my YouTube videos and it would turn everything around. Unfortunately, the YouTube videos aren't going to be fast enough to do it at the speed that you need. So you can go to denvergriffin.com. I have a free masterclass on there that's an additional resource and a tool that can give you some wins today. But also you can apply to work with me, and let's see if we can't get her back quickly before it becomes too late.